Alright, let's go. Let's get some coffee. Let's get some gaming news. Get a little bit of everything. Alright. Alright, right now it's gonna be some of the game dev articles. Guess news gonna be later for the recap. Hey Steve, hello. How you doing? Now we gonna be recapping that stuff. 1 second. Alright, figuring out. As soon as you kind of want to do something different day, something's not gonna work on that day. Like, come on, dude. Alright, the cam. Like the Ravens watch out next week. It's gonna be out on Thursday, but I'm gonna get the access starting Tuesday during the day. So I wanted to do Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday pick the day off when we go with my friend. And he was fine with it first. Now he's saying it's gonna be busy on Thursday, needs to go to work. So then I'm probably gonna take Tuesday then off, and then Tuesday, Thursday, I'll do Ravens watch. Probably. Let's do it that way, probably. But the pre-release, because I don't think I'm gonna make it in time to stream on Tuesday. I'm gonna go on the train and everything, probably, so I'm not gonna have time. Alright, open balcony. Alright, let's go. I get some of that coffee. Ooh, actually kind of fresh today. Kind of fresh, seems like. That's some fresh air there. Don't seem that cold though. +8, that's warm. But no sun, so I guess that's why. Alright, let's go get that coffee. Get the water. See, I guess then Tuesday. Tuesday I'm gonna be off. And then Wednesday, Thursday, I'm gonna do the late starts. For some comfy streams, Let's do it that way, probably. Or, we'll see. Maybe I'll do just kind of like the regular one. I'll think about it. I'll think about it, how to do it better. Ooh, right. So we're gonna check that Ravens watch. See how that goes, See how that goes, And that's from the creators of Curse of the Dead Gods, so that should be good stuff. That should be good stuff. And I have one key to give away, by the way, so I will do that. We will do that. No, I mean, it's technically like the single, but yeah, co-op is there. Co-op is there indeed. And I'm gonna give away the key probably on Thursday then for the release. I guess makes kind of sense. Makes kind of sense. And then on Friday, I'm gonna pick something else for the first look Friday. But you're gonna need to find time to finish the Red Gear. Tomorrow is gonna be the Bigus Oblivionus. There we go. Maybe Thursday or something. We'll see. Yeah, Thursday probably gonna do the giveaway then, before the release. Before the release, right before it. There's only one key, so not that big of a deal, but still still might be good, eh? Ooh, right. Whoop. One more short for the Redgi stream. Maybe on Friday then. Or maybe I do it next weekend then already, like Saturday or something. So people can catch that. Hey, hello. Good Bongo. Hello again. We'll see, we'll see. Answer. Fine with it. No answer yet. Alright. Well, for now, gonna plan Tuesday. We'll see though. Go grab some of that food and everything on Tuesday. And gonna be that day oofus, and then gonna be back and do some late start streams Wednesday, Thursday with some Ravens watch. That's gonna be nice. And next Friday we'll see. I might do Raidborn, I guess, maybe next Friday. Like, it's out now. Remember the demo I did? The developer was in chat, the dungeon crawler thingy. That one is out now. Send me the key too, so we could check that one. Nice, Steve, nice. Easy. Easy fix. Feels good, eh? See, I could check the Raidborn on Friday then. It's so much stuff again now. It's like, it's crazy. Like, holy shit. A lot of games, eh? People go ham, eh? Like, a bunch of things I actually, like, literally just, like, not making it. Like, I just don't want, you know, to, like, every day just do a couple of hours of some game and then just forget about it. It's a bit too dank. But there is so much. There is so much. There's, like, a few, like, Vampire Survivors likes also sent me some keys. The military camp thingy that I played with insane singing and everything, the demo on Next Fest. That one is also, I think, coming out now. Or already did even. So much stuff. He's insane. He's insane. And you know, also the Wildfrost, whatever, will be out too soon, right? That one. And another one. And another one. We eating good with all them releases. Alright, there we go. So what was the fix for the controller? How'd you fix that? It's here. Ooh, right. Now wash the grinder. Clean it while I'm at it. There we go. And there's all gonna be some YouTube bonus as usual. Today gonna be some Terraformers probably though. Kinda crave to play for a while. I can find time. So much stuff to play now. So much other shit to play. So I'm just gonna do it on YouTube today. Yesterday already was plenty of game dev shenanigans. I might just play some today instead. I'll get some games. Some more. Ada bonus YouTube stream. I can just pull it out of the socket that way. Ah, I see. Interesting. Interesting. The typical gamer problems. Got some crisps and stuff stuck in there. See how it is. Classics. Classics. I do have some milk. Good. Check before. But I do. I get the filter. And tomorrow then gonna be the Bolivian Fiesta. Maybe something to grill too. Or maybe I'll wait with it a bit more for more pouches and stuff now. We'll see, we'll see. Gotta continue shivering aisles. Maybe it will be full day. Maybe. Yes, I see. The permadrift. Well, yeah, one day they all go rip. Unfortunately. All right, get some milk. Guess I'll need to add some condensed one. Not much left here. Five to 6 years now, I see. Well, yeah, that's quite impressive indeed. You right, this here. This out. All right, heating the milk up. Warming it up. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 5 to 6 years for a controller is quite good. That is actually quite good. 1 second. Come on. No, gonna get the booth, seems like. Okay, 1 moment. Till 5th of April. That should be good. Can pick it next week then. I'm gonna get two deliveries in one go. Some more stuff for the cam. That's good. Alright, milk. Badovni, hello. Alright, let's go on. Should be all good then. Not crazy enough volume. We should get enough. Should get enough. And this milk is actually decent. I wonder if that was just like a weird batch they had or something. That's quite a big batch though, because 2 or like 3 bottles in a row were kind of scuffed in terms of making foam out of them. And this good, huh? Yeah, this good now. There we go. And done. Here it is. And there it is. Got him. I should fit in one go too. I'll take it. Come on. Just not even like pushing it too hard. You just kind of like need to push. Can like just push with the whole weight. So you push like kind of with like muscles, I guess, so you can stop. If it just kind of, you know, like flips a bit there, tilts a bit. There we go. So it's better probably to use the stock cup with this one, the plastic one that you use for transportation. And it works like a really good cup because it's kind of like square-ish with the really wide base. So it doesn't really go places when you do stuff with it. More solid, more stable. Alright, let's go. Got him. And there it is. Alright, let's go. It's good. Alright, that was an interesting one yesterday. Let's see. Zoltan probably would like this one. I would be curious about this one at least. Let's see. Do you want me to also get like the app for this shit? Browsing became PP again now. And they read it just through the browser on the tablet. Alright. Our experience of releasing a game without marketing. Hey Jordi, hello. Good morning. How we doing, man? Not great, not terrible. A few months back, was in the hunt for some insights from game developers regarding their experience of releasing a game on Steam. Found very useful and wanted to share some valuable data about our release and to help those who want to plan their game dev journey. 2 years ago, we decided to create an asymmetric 2 players co-op puzzle FPS game inspired by the Where We Were Here series. I keep talking, nobody explodes in a cyberpunk universe with a little bit of horror. A game that blends puzzle solving with a little bit of action to keep things intense. That's actually a good concept, I feel, for like the co-op game like that. So, you know, it's not just like one person trying to explain something to someone, but, you know, one or both of them just kind of being pressured by some horror shit. That sounds like a nice idea. Sounds like a nice idea. Izard, hello. With tablet content on screen and split screen? Ah, man, that would be nice. That would be nice, but that would be very hard to do. Some sort of like, what was the name of that one? Like the air something, kind of like the, so you broadcast the screen of the tablet to the PC, and then I would need to enable like the capture of that when I start doing stuff. Yeah, something like TeamViewer or something should be. I could try. I would need some like, well, I mean, I do have the app for that too, so you can switch scenes and everything, and try to switch to one where it's gonna be capturing that stuff. I could try to go for something like that. Yeah, the cable will be a problem because like the PC setup is kind of far from here, really. It's kind of far from here. Yeah, I'll need to do it wirelessly. I need to do it in the wireless way. How else could I do it? Some remote opening stuff on PC and then here just kind of like scrolling through it, maybe. Yeah, I need to think about it. That will be kind of... I was kind of thinking how to do something like this, but yeah, it's gonna be tricky. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. How to do it better, even. But yeah, that's a good point. Well, at least with these articles, there should be. With Twitter, sometimes it might be, you know, kind of, especially with nowadays Twitter, I would say that might be, when I'm browsing news from there, might be a little bit of a roulette, though, to capture it directly, because the odds that Mr. Musk is allowing on the platform and everything can be quite something. Might end up with some accidents if you just like not like pre-browse and pre-scroll everything. Actually, pre-browsing not even gonna help, feel like, because they just like plug ads randomly in the feed. Actually, what that would be even like a good way. What would be the good way for this one? Well, yeah, these articles at least I kind of, you know, see. So this is kind of doable. This kind of doable. All right, done with the coffee. There we go. Could do maybe as an option just some sort of like command or something pre-set up for articles at least. So you can just kind of like open them up also to read them. Might do something like that. Anyway, let's see. Let's see, Steve, I see. Already suffering. Decided to give that one a go too. That's a nice one. A very small French team of 2 people. Project was designed by both of us. Of contractual limitations in our situation. The work of creating the game, development, 3D art, sound design, music composition had to be done by one person full-time. Between February 2021 and October 2022, 1 year and 8 months, this implies 9 to 11 hours of work every day, including weekends, holidays. We're able to work together 1 to 2 months before the release. More testing, marketing, gathering feedback, etc. Started without a community, without any reputation, and no publisher. From the void. Game Engine, Unreal Engine, Steam page release February 2022, Steam app release date October 2022. Steam price $15. Total wishlist before release 500. Sales after release day 1 8, day 2 21, day 3 7. Until November 11, the sales continued to drop, reaching 0 just before the 10 reviews threshold. Copies sold for 3 days after reaching 10 reviews, 138. 10 reviews threshold is a kind of filter for Steam discovery queue. Yeah, it seems like a very important filter by the looks of it. Until December Steam sales, the daily number of copies sold ranged from 11 to 25 on average. Total copies sold before December Steam sales 980. I mean, 1,000 copies with no marketing whatsoever in basically a month. That doesn't sound too bad so far. First Steam sale December 50% discount, 1,370 copies. Dropping like instantly 50% discount like a month in. Well, 2 months in, I guess. Was like end of October, end of December for sales, right? Kinda, I guess. Until March Steam sales, daily number of copies sold ranged from 2 to 7. Second Steam sales, March, 50% discount again, 420 copies. Number of copies sold to date, 3,400. Wishlist 9,550. Wishlist conversion rate 12.3%, below Steam average. Refund rate 10 to 14%. Refund rate is pretty high. Refund reasons are mainly that the game is not fun, too difficult, or a misunderstanding of game modes. The game is multiplayer only, there is no single player mode apart from the tutorial. 10% of total refunds comes from technical issues. Game is notably very divisive as it's FPS mixed with a puzzle game. So it's not an action game, and that can sometimes lead to confusion. Rating 92% positive, 160 reviews. A gross Steam revenue to date 39k, net revenue to date 22k for like what? April right now, or like full March. So like 5 months basically. 22k with no marketing. That's good, dude. You know, the devs felt that people misunderstood their game. Absolutely, yeah. But that's the problem. Sometimes just it's hard to convey, you know. It's hard to convey, and some people just kind of like, I don't know, like just like trigger happy or something. It's just kind of like, oh, looks cool, bye, and then like, oh shit, that was completely not what I expected. And when it's like, you know, mixture of genres, you see that a lot nowadays. Like when it's like 4X strategy and mixed like with like city management, for example, or something, and it's kind of like not there, or like in both but not deep enough, and like people just kind of like, you know, bought because they wanted town management and they got like a bunch of other stuff they didn't want, or they wanted like 4X but they got not enough depth of 4X and they don't want any management, you know, and just it's kind of like getting a lot of negatives that way. The game, I think there was a link, 1 second. Game was a bonding ambivalence. I haven't heard about that one actually. I don't think I did. A bonding ambivalence. Ambivalence. Project cost of $5,000 includes complementary game assets, 2D assets licenses, trademark registration, sound assets licenses, software licenses, etc. Cost of living for one person during the game development phase, savings 36,000. So 2 years of development for one person. It's $1,000 per month. Well, I mean, with rent and everything in France, that seems kind of even, you know, on low key. Depends where in France, I guess, too. Conclusion, we couldn't expect much from a game without marketing, but we think it's not too bad, bro. I think that's amazing, man. 22K in like 5 months with no marketing for the very first game. That's crazy, I would say. I think it's not too bad since we only relied on Steam Discovery queue. I prefer to focus mainly on fixing bugs and improve the game experience thanks to the feedback. Game exclusively multiplayer co-op, which tends to reduce the sales compared to single player indie game. I think here it's kind of other way around. Maybe it does reduce the sales, but that's probably what worked for discoverability for them. Like if it will be another like indie platformer or something, that probably not gonna that probably wouldn't go that well. Like you would need probably then to get super lucky for discovery to kick in. And when you pick like something more like niche, I think that's way better, especially with co-op and everything. It's like someone, you know, one person saw it, they already gonna probably tell like a bunch of their friends like, yo, how about we play this shit? And then it just kind of goes from there, you know. I think that's why with no marketing it actually did that well for them. Attempts to use Twitter and social media did not yield anything meaningful, but we did not put all our energy into this task. Well, I mean, it's not like you're putting a lot of energy into that usually. It's not like putting more energy will yield more rewards. Let's put it that way, I guess. Learned the hard way that the market is crowded with daily releases, so the effort needed to get out of the background noise is therefore a very important part of the total effort of creating the game. A big project is above all a combination of the experience gained from years of managing small projects, very small games made between friends, personal projects, game built on tutorials, etc. Besides, I really recommend this to create escape games with their friends, with riddles tied to fun anecdotes. In addition to being great fun, you will learn a lot about game dev. Hey Ryan, hello. This project was a work of passion and we still have a lot to learn. Development was very intense because we had to get a lot of result in a very short period of time due to our limited amount of cash to burn and survive the feedbacks. If you love what you do, the intensity can have a severe impact on your mental health, so take breaks and be careful. Great that we have players who had a really good time and can provide us with some much needed comfort. Lucky to have them around as their positive experience helped to boost our morale. Adventure will put on hold until we have some time to do a full marketing or until we meet some luck. Let's see. That's very good results, very good sale numbers for having only 500 wishlists before launch. Someone who has a game with 500 wishlists, this gives me hope. It gives me hope. All right. Well, the thing is, like, hope is good, but I feel as soon as yeah, if you have the same numbers but with some sort of like platformer or something, it's not gonna go. Co-op games are quite scarce in the market, so we have a bit of room. Could explain why we weren't completely drowned after release. Yeah, I think that's exactly the thing. They probably also hit like similar to things with like We Were Here and all those games, and then there's just like people looking for some like some people actually like always like not always but like looking for those co-op games. Like I have a friend, for example, right, who plays with his other friend regularly. And he's constantly like on the lookout, basically. They both constantly for some games with co-op that are kind of like nice and interesting. So like specifically just looking for co-op stuff, and people just actually like, you know, like when you look for something like, I don't know, like shooters or something, you can just like open, scroll a bit, like pick something already probably, right? And like go for it. And with co-op, there is like not a lot, first of all, and there's not a lot of good stuff. So people actually, when they look for something like this, they actually kind of like, you know, put effort into finding things. So they actually like browse way deeper and way more, I feel, because like there's specific, you know, need. I think that's what helped here a lot. Let's see. Player co-op only, no single player, definitely a bold choice that limits sort of players that from wanting to buy. But it helps people to find. Like I think it's better to like maybe cover like narrower audience by your game, but you actually, you know, kind of being found by that audience rather than covering, you know, wide audience, but then no one ever finds you. And anything else here? Anything else they got there, huh? The 22k was already after taxes and everything. So technically, if you, you know, if you have like some better taxation, cheaper cost of living and everything, that would be way better. Hey Pony, hello. Yeah, exactly. Like I think that niche, like with co-op, is like sure you kind of sell it less, right? Because less people, you know, like more people will buy single player stuff. But the thing is, like, it's way more competition on that one too. And co-op is already like something that people are gonna be like going for. And as I said, it's also the, you know, the word of mouth and everything. Like someone like found the game, linked it to friends, you want to play this with me and stuff, right? Then they also like link to their friends, like, oh, that was cool, we played with this dude, like, want to play that with me and stuff, you know, and like, and it just kind of goes that way. And not to mention, I think a lot of this like co-op stuff, like we are here and all that keep talking, nobody explodes, like it's also kind of like more likely, I guess, to catch an eye of like a streamer or something, right? Some streamer would just be browsing, like something to play with like some other streamer or something. Oh, let's try this one, for example, and there we go. Yes, Steve, I see. Well, I mean, it's the best if you manage to kind of also like merge single and multiplayer, then it will be good. But yeah, I think it's totally not the downside if your game is co-op only or something. All right, then let's do another one. What do we have? Now what do we have? Something interesting. Something I wanted to read here. Betrayal Club lower read before. CBWSC. I'll just make something that doesn't require a lot of it. Not to mention there's blueprints now in Unreal Engine, for example. Like Ultan already showed the game that was made without, you know, a single line of code written before. Just with blueprints, just the visual coding, without the actual code. So it's doable. Now let's do the Dome Keeper. Still need to learn it? Well, I mean, yeah, true. Need to learn. Need to learn everything really, one way or another. Yeah, or just go to some game jam, for example. Like, yo, I can make models, I can make art, you make code. Let's try to do it. Now, Dome Keeper focuses on systems that feed into one another. Let's see. Dome Keeper asks players to split their time between mining for ore and defending the fragile planetary base from creatures that don't want them there. Let's go. Alright. So the interview for the Dome Keeper stuff. What was your role in developing? Rene Haberman, and originally made Dome Keeper with my wife Anne Hecker. She was doing the pixel art, and I programmed, designed, and directed the game. Quickly got Cameron Paxton on board to create music to fit the calm and isolated mining. A bit later, Martin Kvale joined us as a sound designer, shaping the whole soundscape of the home. That's the background then. Been making games since my early teens, teaching myself programming with a Blitz Basic. Eventually that led to studying IT in university and working in IT due to a lack of educational options for game dev in my region, Saxony in Germany. Much better now. Back then there were no clear paths into game dev. And there's in general not many, to be honest. Just do visual novels then. Yeah, as an option too. Why not? Why not? There's a lot of like nowadays there's a lot of options, I feel. Like if anything it's currently I would say it's way harder if you know like the code, but you can't like do art for shit. Except if you like go full AI mode, of course, which is still not really feasible that much. Like it's still hard to get some sort of like consistent output that will be good and everything. Still more kind of for placeholders and everything. Never stopped making games though, and eventually convinced my then girlfriend on to support this by making pixel art sprites. We were stuck in the start projects that are too large, lose motivation after a few months, repeat. A loop that many game devs know. Started doing game jams in 2017, which finally was the key to us building the skills to actually finish something and learn how to make a proper game. And more game jammers there. Yeah, just join game jams as an artist, that's it. There's a lot of them. I linked yesterday. Oh, that was on my YouTube game dev stream, I think, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. So not on Twitch. But yeah, you can just go to each.io, like just Google each.io game jams. Just like there's a list. For like 2 weeks, there's like dozens of them. Just pick any of them, you know, go in. There's people looking for teams and everything. Just, yo guys, I can draw, you can code, let's go. Sorta, Rajan, sorta, I guess. I don't think currently like it's that big of a problem though. Like a lot of companies still do it without anything going on. How it's gonna turn in the end, that's a big question. But I think a lot of that already was made and no one even like had any questions, you know. Like the High on Life used some of the generated stuff and everything, and you know they just like, well, we did use that, nothing happened, so you know, it is kinda still a shifty, I would say. And depends where it will go from now, but currently I think that's doable. The problem is you can't really use it that well now. There are tools I think that are more or less like the only things you can kind of do is like textures and everything, which is already good, I guess. There are already tools that are gonna make them for you and in all right formats and everything. So there are things like this already. I'm not sure how many of those things are actually like, you know, available for free for the regular mortal, you know. But yeah, I've seen some of those in action. Not to mention there is also like already the Unity plugin and stuff for that, so you know. There is stuff. There is stuff. Just try at least something. Well, I mean, to try at least something is not, you know, for how do you say? Like you might already like it says even here, you know, like people were commercially working as developers for years, but they still like couldn't finish anything until they started, you know, actually doing like game jams and actually finishing that stuff. That's the thing. That's the thing. You need to find like a team or something. And that's the game jams where they help, basically. If you have some ideas and stuff, then you know. Because otherwise, yeah, sure, you can like write the like ideas like cost and mean jack shit. Like everyone has an idea. Idea is nothing really. Hey Samprayer, hello. How we doing, man? Until you kind of like, you know, at least made a prototype for it or some shit, like idea means jack shit. Like I have like a whole like notebook full of ideas, like whatever. No one cares. So yeah, when you want to make some idea into something, well, I mean, prepare the budgets, hire, you know, hire coders and everything, make someone work on it for you. Maybe then find publishers that will be interesting in the idea. But again, I think publishers would be interested only if you already have something like more substantial to show than just the idea, because they probably get like bombed by those ideas on a daily basis. I would say. That's why I went ahead and started like doing some Unity shit, because I just realized that, you know, like you might have all those amazing ideas and everything, but no one even like not even like gonna like look at your project. No one even gonna hire you as like a game designer or something if you just have ideas and stuff. So it's better to just start doing stuff and just start doing shit and then see what happens. Nice, sound pretty nice. Sounds good, huh? Sounds good, huh? Hey, Selpo. Alright, let's see. Yeah, we became full-time game devs in 2022 by getting published by Raw Fury. Before that, we were only working in our free time. So they got the publisher and went full-time. Unity, yeah, I'm doing stuff already. For like, I guess like a couple of months almost already. I wouldn't say it's something crazy, but still. People overthink themselves in idleness. Yeah, happens. You can see it here on Twitch. Well, mostly on YouTube though, but you know, sometimes here. And help. Well, for now it's no like graphical stuff. It's just like the coding shit and everything. I will get to the graphical stuff. I will get to that one eventually too. For now, it's just the squares moving and stuff, and that's good enough already. At least they are doing things kinda. But sure, I mean, can check it out. I plan to do my own stuff too. We'll see if I'm capable. If I'm capable of doing something but, you know, stickman and dicks. Very schematic dicks, you know. Yeah, we'll see. And you come up with the concept for Dome Keeper. Made it during a game jam. I led them there 48, and the theme was deeper and deeper. So one very obvious choice for that was mining. It was our 10th Lodem there, and this time we didn't want to be clever, but just make something non-experimental, which we knew we could make good and polish in the 3 available days. Don't enjoy single system builds where you, for example, mine for mining's sake or survive so you can survive more. I wanted to have a real gameplay reason, that motivation to actually go mining. This is where the monsters came in, resulting in the two-phase gameplay. Initially thought of asteroids coming down and hitting the dome, but Anne made monsters in the mock-up that were a very natural fit. So overall for us it felt very straightforward with the game just naturally evolving. It was interesting afterwards to see many people draw comparisons to a ton of different games, most of which I hadn't played before. Model Load, Steam World Dig, Missile Command, Risk of Rain, Dig Dug. I think that was a lucky coincidence, as people had a lot of nostalgic love for Model Load especially. And it's a great sign if people can quickly understand your game and relate it positively to other games they like. Still go and play the Game Jam game, and I think it's interesting how true a Dome Keeper is to that experience. Dome Keeper is indeed a good game, that is true. Game is made in the Godot engine, a fantastic free and open source engine, especially like it for making 2D games. Other than that, we were using Aseprite for the pixel art, Logic Pro for sound work, and Ableton for music work. Dome Keeper is split into very distinct phases, mining and defending. What appealed to you about having these two styles? Here's the GameDeveloper.com article. They had some interviews with like the GDC, the Indie Game Fest, nominees and everything. To me, it isn't even about the appeal of the phases by themselves. It was always about the interplay between the two phases. The battle giving a reason to go mining, but also being an immediate show floor for the fruits of your mining labor in addition to the mining upgrades you can get. They also found crucial was the emotional pacing balance you can get with this. Have the tense battle where you are fighting for survival that is offset with the strangely calm mining phase, which is still under a time constraint, which means you have to keep busy. This creates a core loop that works well for many people, often getting into good flow of play. Appeal for me is always in interconnected systems, motivating and influencing each other, building complexities in play but not in mechanics. What thoughts went into designing how those phases would play mechanically? How did you design them so they would fight for the player's attention and time in a sense? Generally, one big goal was to make the game very easy to pick up. That's always important for game jams, and it turns out it doesn't hurt outside of them either. So the mechanics are made as simple as possible, with the complexity coming from the interactions and interdependencies. One central part of both phases are the upgrades. You can spend your resources fundamentally on improving your mining or your battle capabilities. Upgrades should be a very strong representation of your mining success. Key to that, for me, is making all upgrades very powerful. It feels great to see big power jumps, and it's also important just to feel the difference an upgrade makes. And the battle mode specifically design is centered around the capabilities of your weapon, unlocked upgrades, and how both play together with the set of monsters. Is it anything in the game, I'm always trying to only add things that are meaningfully different than already existing content. That means each monster should pose its own challenge in battle. Doesn't mean that it needs to do something different, but that the player needs to do something different depending on the monsters they are fighting. Mining, on the other hand, should be a main activity largely because the battle was never going to be complex enough to enjoy minutes-long instances of it. For mining, it's always clear that with the most simple mining mechanic possible, the complexity has come from elsewhere. What you can see in-game are hundreds of micro decisions you take as a player that make this feel good. Which direction to mine, which resources to focus on, how many resources to carry, etc. It gets interesting because of the time constraint put on the mining by the battles, otherwise you wouldn't really need to decide anything interesting. True. It does get a bit kind of bonkers sometimes, with the late fights especially. Make all these decisions optimizing your run into the mine to best utilize the time until next wave of monsters approaches. So both modes are tied together like this, but mining needed to survive the battles, and the battles putting constraints on the mining. Tools do you want to give the players to make either of these phases easier to navigate? How did you design the upgrades players could get? Upgrades are central here, but so are gadgets. Gadgets are little helpers you can find underground, which open up the gameplay to new possibilities. The goal here again was to have gadgets that can fundamentally alter the way you approach each phase. Now the best examples here is the lift, which enables you to stop carrying resources back to the dome yourself and leave that constant part of gameplay behind at some point. For combat, it's more about a synergy with your main weapon and your chosen weapon upgrades, as well as an adaptation to the set of monsters of the specific world you're on. A lift is a business slot there, I see. I see some prayer, it's time. The upgrades, it was the same as everything in the game. Every upgrade should be meaningfully different. In addition, you should immediately feel the difference an upgrade makes. If we can, we also have upgrades visually and audibly change the game, like the laser growing in size and sound with the power upgrades you can get. Upgrades are very interesting to design. On one hand, you want to give some options, but also keep mechanics as simple as they can be. There needs to be a balance between progression and mechanic changes too. If the upgrades never change or add mechanics, it's a bit boring. And they do it too much, it becomes laborious to understand and reason about. Finally, with the upgrades all wanting to push the player forward in power, a big challenge is to balance the game so that it does keep being a challenge despite those OP upgrades and gadgets. Yeah, balancing is indeed tricky there. It was quite, in the beginning especially, not sure if they tuned something like this, but it was quite tricky sometimes. Let's see. They designed audio and effects for two different playstyles. The thoughts went into sounds, fit a world where players would randomly have to shift activities. The During the playtest phase, we realized that music during the battle actually decreased the tension a bit, so we decided to lean heavily on sound design for the atmosphere of the battle phase. Each monster has its own ambience, which attenuates based on the enemy number as well, so experienced players can read a lot from the ambience as they hurry back up to defend their dome. Now, the only time music plays during the battle is the final wave after the relic is retrieved. This lets the player know that this battle is unique and that the end of the round is in sight. When during the mining phase, music can be relatively sparse, only playing every 2 or 3 cycles. This makes the music more of a treat to the player to hear and occasionally adds a little more atmosphere to the gameplay. And what goes in composing music that feels suited to exploring other worlds? I had a chance to play Dome Keeper, then a Dome Romantic when it was still in the Game Jam build. The experience and gameplay loop was pretty much there from the start, so I had pretty clear direction for the music. Oh, it's like the composer interview now already too. I want to capture the same sort of loneliness and isolation that you feel when listening to a Metroid soundtrack, without directly referencing that series. Took a lot of cues from the music of Boards of Canada, beautiful synth sounds that are beginning to crumble and fall apart. The original Game Jam version of the game had a more low-res aesthetic, so the tracks also had a lot of bit crushing to hint at older hardware, but we decided to make the music a bit brighter and full when the graphics were updated for the full release. For the second Keeper Assessor, I wanted to create a completely separate soundtrack and vibe to match the difference in gameplay style. I haven't played a different one yet, I think. Stuck with the same sort of somber and lonely atmosphere, but decided to use piano as the primary instrument. Assessor in many ways feels more refined and skilled at their work than the engineer, so I wanted to create a vibe that matched that idea without veering too far away from music that was made for an engineer. Games filled with all manner of menacing alien creatures that are keen on your presence. How did you design their looks? It's funny, the original look was in large part influenced by this being a Game Jam game. Alan chose a 8-color palette and 320x370 resolution, which leaves very limited room to show details in addition to having a background world. The single-color monsters also meant they were very fast to animate, which is very important if you only have 3 days to make a game. Then again, all came naturally, and people enjoyed the mysterious look. One influence that many people recognized was another game called Heart of Darkness. Ann saw it on a stream from one of her favorite people and was inspired by that, also because it just naturally fit with the other constraints. Later experimented with giving the monsters some more detail, but the feedback from players was very clear. The single color shapes are best for this. Seems true that the best things happen in your mind, so a key was not to visually overshare the nature of monsters, leaving more room for player imagination. Damn son, don't need to go ham. Don't need to go ham. The new class is hard. 2 PP are good to play it. All right. It's too dink. It's too dink. Physicality of the monsters was centered around them being very wild and enraged, some of them also being a bit goopy. So the first monster smashes his body full force against the dome, laboriously pulling itself away from it afterwards in a seemingly self-destructive act. That brutality was also important for us to contrast that with the cozy nature of having a beautiful dome you want to protect. Later we also enjoyed surprising the player, for example by having monsters that do some transformations. What ideas went into how they sound? How do you create animal sound that feels like it's from another world? Need to make the native creatures feel different from the player avatars, so I made them seem and sound strange and dissonant, unharmonious. I think the sound design of the Keeper's technology and items have a lot of intimate and intricate elements, and the monsters are the opposite by being eerie and less detailed. Created to raise the tension by emitting their shots, shrieks, dives, and deaths. The monsters are around the more chaos and stress rattling of your dome as you are getting closer to death. So each sound doesn't matter as much as how many, how often and how far away from the surface you are. Each monster also has an ambience that tells you a little bit about their behavior and how dangerous they are. When you're returning to the surface to defend against a new wave of monsters and you hear an ambience that you haven't heard before, you know there's something unknown on its way and that you may be in trouble. We have some pals like Drillbert and Drillium. Oh yeah, I remember those. Who came with you from your world, and they sound closer to your tech and exploration type of sounds, and chirpy and quirky. Handy little digging buds that hammer away at tiles with small sound and make cute little screams when you throw them down towards where you want them to dig. Their sounds make them feel at home in the exploration and mining phase. Populate the underground areas and make them feel like there is activity happening there. Yeah, those were nice. Those were nice. The audio effects load a lot of weight and impact to mining, being attacked and fighting back. How do you design effects that would make actions feel satisfying and attacks feel terrifying? Domekeeper is a game with two distinct stages. Exploration part and combat part. Each half needs to work on its own as well as balance against the other, so the sound design has to support this dynamic. Design for exploration is intended to invoke curiosity, chirpy, and build from a lot of the intimate and small foley parts found in my home. The sounds are layered so that each one shifts and changes every time it's played with some degree of randomization. I want the exploration to feel safe, so the sound you hear help by being playful. Therefore, what you're hearing underground is the sounds of items, resources, a player avatar, and its technology, with less of a focus on background atmosphere. Favorite sound from exploration is when you recharge your sonar ability, such a strange little naughty sound, analog and almost like some odd rubber wheel inside an old mill. Would have been typical to make a sci-fi high-frequency explorer of a power-up charge sound. Instead, it is something from like real world, warm and intimate. It makes me feel the technology of the Keepers is something wonderfully weird alongside with the things you uncover down in the dirt. They nominate them for the sound design, seems like. Domekeeper. I don't know who won, though. Did they? I think it was someone else. I think so. Domekeeper in the end was so good that there's one like complete rip-off. What was the name of that one? What was the name of that one? I remember that was I remember what studio made it, but I don't remember the name of the rip-off. But that's such a like blatant rip-off. It's insane. Which I mean, you know, I guess it is what it is. They just took the concept that worked and they just changed it a little bit. So instead of, you know, I think it's just like Dome is not stationary, Dome is moving. Sometimes it's moving even vertically. So you have like different axes that I can show it on Steam now. I'll try to remember. I'll try to find it. Yeah, it was quite interesting. But it's like such a, you know, like just like literally like a rip-off. Just like write it all over it. Absolutely. Written all over it. Shameless. Shameless. And actually we'll see how it performed, because I'm not sure if it's out yet. It was on the Next Fest, it was in the demo. Not sure if it's already out. But the demo was quite popular, I think, so I guess people were okay with that overall.